Good afternoon. Yeah, as the tradition is, because quite a number of, quite a lot has been covered, so prepare the way. I'm always very fast. This one will take less than an hour. I'll start with my remarks. Members and industry stakeholders, I welcome you all to the KenGen DC scheme annual general meeting for the financial year that has just that ended in 31st December 2024. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, allow me to convey my gratitude to you who have taken time to join us by both physically and virtually to ensure that this AGM is a success. I'm glad to announce that during the year, we've had new members who joined the scheme, thus our membership has increased significantly. We welcome you all into our DC schemes family. For the quorum, may I now ask the TS to advise if we have attained the requisite quorum for the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon, members. This being a hybrid AGM, we have currently 174 members joining physically, and currently we have 608 members joining us virtually. Chair, we are well collated, and hence we should be able to proceed with the meeting. Thank you.
Good, thank you. A quorum being formed, I declare the meeting to be properly convened and duly constituted. Rules of the meeting. Members, at the end of this AGM, we will have a Q&A session where we shall address your questions and receive your comments and feedback. For members who are joining us virtually, kindly share your questions via the chat mode. Throughout the meeting, we shall engage with you through the poll questions, just like DB. Kindly take time to share your response. For the physical attendees, we've printed out the poll questions for your participation. Please fill out the questionnaire and drop it at the Usher's desk. I think it's out there. Located at the entrance of the venue. The Ushers are available to guide you on the process. You can also channel your follow-up questions and comments through the email on agm@KenGen SRBS.co.ke. And in that case, we'll now start with the first poll question. Trust Secretary, kindly share the first one.
Thank you, Chair. I'll go through the first poll question, and this is for the DC scheme. Which of the following do you like the pension scheme to prioritize in the coming year? That is for as we look towards member education. Which of the following would you like us to prioritize during the coming year? First one being improved member communication. Number 2 being better investment option. Number 3 being enhanced member education. Which of the following would you like the pension scheme to prioritize in the coming year? Improved member education, better investment option, and the third one, enhanced member education. ICT, you can share the results. Thank you, Chair. We have members looking towards improved member communication, that is 8%, better investment options, 60%, and enhanced member education, 32%. Thank you.
Today, as mentioned by our CEO, the sponsor, CEO, we bid farewell to our retiring trustee, that is Dr. Rosemary Wanyoike, who was a sponsor appointed. Our commitment, insights, and valuable contribution have played a key role in strengthening the governance and strategic direction of the scheme. We sincerely thank her for the dedicated service and wish her all the best in future endeavors. Once again, let us all appreciate her. Tumpigie makofi, please. Now, as we bid farewell to our retiring trustee, we embark on a new chapter with our incoming trustee, who brings with her a wealth of knowledge, expertise, and fresh perspectives. May I now take this opportunity to introduce the trustee who joined the scheme during the year, and that is Trustee Honorable Rehema. Honorable Rehema Hassan was appointed to the Board of Trustees in April 2025 as a sponsor-nominated trustee. She's the chair of our Admin and Communication Committee and a member of the Audit and Risk Management Committee with the Board of Trustees. Honorable Rehema Hassan is a seasoned public policy expert and a practitioner with a 30-year track record in implementing government policy and driving positive outcomes. She holds a Bachelor of Business Administration, that is Human Resource Management degree from Methodist University, and also a Diploma in Human Resource Management from Kenya Institute of Management. She is the immediate former women representative for Tana River County, which she actively served from the year 2017 to the year 2022. At the National Assembly, Ms. Hassan served as a patron of the National Government Affirmative Action Fund for Tana River County. She was a member of the Environment and Natural Resource Select Committee for the 12th Parliament, and also at the same time she served as a member of the Service and Facilities Committee of the same 12th Parliament. She has previously served as the Assistant Director, Human Resources, Tana River County, Human Resource Manager, Malindi District Commissioner's Office, and also served in various positions at Tana River District Commissioner's Office. I think that is displayed. With all that, doesn't she deserve a clap, a welcome clap? Thank you. For the CEO, I think we were with him. Now, for the service providers, we will also have to recognize them. We still have our RBA representative Bosco is here. Thank you very much, and also his colleague. Now, I don't need to do that. For investment managers, I think this one you'll allow me to introduce John Kiara. Just raise your hand. Of Homig, we have ICA Lion, Esther Muchai. Tumpigie makofi, please. Custodian, I think we've retained. We still have Purity with us. Thank you. And then lastly, Eunice Moura, again, auditor. Thank you. With that introduction, we now move to the second poll. TS.
Thank you, Chair. We go to the other poll, and this is majorly focusing on additional voluntary contribution and how likely are you to opt for additional voluntary contribution, which is over and above your current normal contribution of 10% to the pension scheme. How likely are you, or likely are you to opt for additional voluntary contribution, which is over and above your normal 10% contribution to the pension scheme, on being very likely, somehow likely, or unlikely? How likely are you to opt for AVC, which is additional voluntary contribution to, which is over and above your 10% contribution to the pension scheme? ICT, you can share the results. Thank you, Chair. We have a good confirmation, very likely that 6%. So these are people we can follow up to ensure that we get more AVC.
Wow, yeah.
Somehow 38%, also a very good number. And also we have groundwork to do to convince the 26% that they can still do more above the 10%.
I now request the TS to read the notice convening this AGM.
Thank you, Chair. And this notice was shared with the members on 5th of June 2025, and I will read as it is. Notice hereby given that the annual general meeting for KenGen Defined Contribution Scheme, known as DC scheme, will be held at KenGen Plaza, Patient Plaza 2, 6th floor area on Friday, 27th June 2025. The theme being charting the course from progress to possibility. The meeting was to commence at 11 a.m. The agenda for the meeting: to read the notice convening the meeting, to receive chairman's report, to receive fund manager's report, to receive the custodian report, to receive scheme audited financial statement for the period ended at 1st December 2024, there together with the auditor's opinion on the same, to receive LBA remarks, preliminary session, any other business due notice has been received, closing remark. This being a hybrid AGM, central office staff and pensioners around Nairobi region will be joining physically, and other members and pensioners will be joining us virtually via Zoom webinar. This was done by the order of the board, signed by myself, the Josephat Mulik, the CEO and the Trust Secretary, on 5th of June 2025. Thank you.
We shall now review item number 2 of the agenda, which is to receive the chairman's report. To our valued members and stakeholders, it is my honor to present the 12th annual report of KenGen DC scheme for the year ended at 1st December 2024, a year that was marked by dynamic growth, innovation, and continued strong governance. Over the past 12 years, that is since the inception of DC, the scheme has evolved and grown, guided by prudent investment strategies and commitment to members' welfare. Key highlights in our journey include the successful transition to member self-service platforms, steady improvements in investment performance, enhancement of governance frameworks, and compliance with evolving regulatory requirements. Strategic reforms have also seen the scheme diversify its investment portfolio, strengthen risk management practices, and improve benefits administration. As we reflect on this 12-year milestone, we celebrate not only the financial growth, but also the institutional maturity that has positioned the scheme as a benchmark in Kenya's retirement benefit sector. On macroeconomic resilience and investment implications, the macroeconomic environment and its impacts have been comprehensively covered in the earlier presentations, so I will not revisit them in detail except to note that the scheme remained resilient and well-positioned throughout the year. Midterm strategy review, that is closing when we close Horizon 1. The year 2024 marked the conclusion of Horizon 1, that is 2019-2024, of the scheme's 10-year strategic plan, with several key milestones achieved. During this period, the fund grew from Kenya shillings 10.9 billion to 14.7 billion, with diversification into private equity, REITs, and offshore assets. We operationalized the income drawdown, that is high DD, enabling retired members to access sustainable income solutions and adapted enterprise resource planning, that is ERP, and data protection frameworks to enhance efficiency and compliance. Notably, we maintain administrative costs at under 1% of assets under management, while engagement frameworks were significantly strengthened. Trustees elections. On April 12, 2024, trustee elections were held where Engineer Asaria Onsoti was re-elected in the non-financial category with 60% of the vote, while Mr. Charles Masio retained his seat in the financial category with 45% of the vote. These outcomes reflect members' confidence and leadership continuity. I think they deserve a clap. Legislative reforms, that is Tax Law Amendment Act 2024. The scheme welcomes December 2024 tax reforms, which increased tax-deductible pension contributions to 30,000 per month and allowed deductions of up to 15,000 per month for post-retirement and medical fund contribution. This was earlier alluded to. Additionally, qualifying pension withdrawals are now tax exempt. I think this is important. Let's clap for, if there is one thing that we've achieved, and whether we like the government or not, I think the government deserves claps for this, especially for the retirees. You can imagine with your lump sum now. I was talking to Jennifer. She was telling me she wished it was her time. And even retirees are asking whether it can be backdated. Bosco, inawezekana? So when you retire now, you go to, Beatrice gives us a letter, you are due now for retirement, your lump sum, haiguzwi, imagine, the entire amount, yote, you're given clean. And then your pension, haiguzwi, yeah? So I think it's good. And you know one thing that, just to reinforce this point about the employer, during one of our retreats, Chair, the contribution that KenGen is making of 10%, 20%, and employees 10%, at a contribution of 30%, and you work for KenGen for a period of 20 years plus, and we invest well also your contribution, the money you are giving us, there's a very high possibility where your pension will be more than your last salary when you be leaving KenGen. Yeah? And I'm even told some are even opting, ukiwa na madeni nyingi sahi, mtu ana opt ku retire, ndio akule pension mzuri. Please, don't do that. Ongojea, you will enjoy it when you retire. Okay, investment performance and scheme growth. The scheme's total fund value increased from 11 billion to 14.6 with 2,413 members. The main fund delivered a return of 14.1%, while the IDD posted an impressive 16.5%. I'm encouraging those who are almost retiring. Please go for IDD. You will not regret. Go for IDD. We know they are busy insurance people, sorry to say. Some of the service providers, they already know when you are retiring, they start calling you across, wanakunulia China mandazi, trying to convince you purchase annuity from them. You do it at your own peril. But I'm advising you will not go wrong with IDD. And that is why you can see we are doing very well. 16.4%. Our investment in offshore holding also doubled to 441.7 million with a 3-year average return of 8%. And you've been told even this year we are going to do far much better. Exposure to rates increased to 130 million, and private equity commitments under review now total 541 million. The high DD fund reached Kenya shilling 768, and I think by now we should be around $1 billion in assets invested in fixed income instruments with 118 members. On advancing the post-retirement medical fund, notable progress was made on the post-retirement medical fund, which include an update to the trust deed, appointment of service providers, the fund manager, that is the fund manager and custodian. The development of the investment policy statement, IPS, is ongoing, and the Board of Trustees have a plan to register the fund with RBA and begin enrollment in the course of the year, that is 2025. With now the commencement of PRMF, we kindly request the sponsor, I think let me now put this in perspective, to encourage members to join. What we are saying, Chair of DB, because now I'm now addressing you not as Chair of DB, but the other role of in the board, we are requesting the sponsor to consider putting in some seed money for the PRMF, because that is where the challenge now is. So that what we are saying here, to encourage members to join by consider matching members. We want you to consider matching members' contribution with contemplation of an additional seed capital for the fund. This will take care of administrative expenses at the initial stages, while ensuring more members save for post-retirement, medical, and enjoy good health care in retirement. I'm sure you'll agree with me with the presentation of Odundo Daktari. This is an area we need to focus. So I think we'll be doing a formal request to the sponsor on the same, especially on the seed money, so that we can start off this PRMF. ICT, transformational and digital resilience. The ICT strategy continues to deliver results where we have seen ERP integration and security controls being strengthened, enhancement of member service tools, and launch of a toll-free service line. These efforts ensure the scheme remain digitally enabled and operationally secure. Risk oversight and strategic resilience. The board maintains active risk oversight, collaborating with its professional advisors to monitor investment, operational, regulatory, cybersecurity risks, among others. Risk intelligence is also embedded in decision-making frameworks and scenario planning exercises. Members' experience, that is profile, engagement, and payouts. In 2024, the scheme paid out a whopping $778 million to its 140 members who are withdrawing under different circumstances. See, that is good. Members' education forums reached 26% of active members. We need to really on this. With improved participation where we engaged 116 pre-retirees, onboarded 9 new members, and so 2024 AGM participation increased to 1,888 members. Looking ahead, what is our strategy and purpose as a board? As we enter Horizon 2, that is 2025 to 2028, of the scheme's 10-year strategy plan, priorities include rolling out the PRMF, as I said, scaling our alternative investments, integrating ESG principles, this is the new thing, enhancing digital members' experience without forgetting to maximize on returns. We therefore remain committed to strategic foresight, service excellence, and long-term member value. Appreciation. On behalf of the board, I wish to express our sincere appreciation to the sponsor for their unwavering support throughout the year, the regulator for their continued effort in fostering a supportive and progressive environment for the retirement benefits sector. Thank you very much, RBA, for that wonderful job. We remain indebted to you. My fellow board members, our professional, our advisors, the Secretariat, TS and his team, and most importantly, to you, our members. Your continued trust, I repeat that, and collaboration are the foundation of our progress and commitment to delivering sustainable retirement benefits. Thank you very much, and that marks the end of my speech. Now, I will now move to the service providers, and I will call John. We shall now receive annual reports from our professional service providers. John, you can go ahead and do for us. You represent the fund managers.
The chair, the CEO, the board of trustees, fellow service providers, members of the scheme, good afternoon. I'll walk you through the investment report. My name is John Kihara, representing Old Mutual Investment Group. And before I start, I want to acknowledge my colleague, from ICA Lion Asset Management, since this is a joint presentation, and that is Esther Mushai. Esther, you can maybe just stand and wave. Thank you. So in terms of the investment report, I think a lot has been said this morning, and also the chair has spoken to a lot around the investment markets and also the strategies that were in place in 2024. So I'll not spend too much time. So can you allow me, because I know I'm also between you and lunch, to quickly go through. But for the benefit of those ones who may not have been in the DB meeting, I'll just quickly talk about the role of the fund manager. As I mentioned, the scheme, we are very honored to have two fund managers, that is OMIG and ICA Lion Asset Management. So in terms of our role as fund managers, it's really a couple of items. I think the key role is to work with the board of trustees in terms of advisory. So being able to advise the trustees in terms of the best investment opportunities and making sure that we are implementing what we call the investment policy statement to ensure that it's also compliant with the Retirement Benefits Authority regulations. The second one, of course, is to make sure that we actually do the work, which is making sure that we are looking at the various markets we invest in and making sure that at every point we have the most optimal investment portfolio to take advantage of the various investment cycles. Thirdly is to make sure that we are reporting to the board of trustees. We do meet at least 4 times with the board of trustees, sometimes more, just to update on the strategy and also get the views from the board of trustees. And then, of course, in a forum like here, once a year, we're able to meet with the membership to present in terms of where the fund is. While at the same time making sure that we are making the regulatory required reporting to the regulators. So those are the 4 key roles of the fund manager, and we are very privileged to do that. So just in terms of the economic environment, so a lot has been said about the economy in 2024, but I think in summary, 2024, despite the earlier challenges in the year, especially from a political perspective, and also weather-related, especially in the first part of the year, the growth was still positive. And that positive growth is very important because it has a very big impact in terms of the investment markets, as you will see from the presentation. So last year, the growth was about 4.7, slightly lower, but positive, and that was quite positive for the markets. In terms of the cost of living, that was, we saw moderate levels of increment in terms of cost of goods and services. Again, as we mentioned, this was a lot to do with a fairly stable economic environment, where, for example, we saw the shilling strengthen significantly, helping us to contain the cost of especially the imported goods. And also from a food perspective, we were able to see food production coming through quite well in 2024. In terms of the interest rates, and I think it's important for members to realize that close to 80% of the fund is invested in instruments that generate their return from interest rates. So this is quite important. So what we saw in 2024 is that generally interest rates significantly came down. So some of the strategies that we put in place, especially in the first half of the year when interest rates were fairly high, was to lock as much as we can in these high-yielding government securities and also in some of the money market instruments. Part of the reason for that, of course, is the government has also tried a lot to bring interest rates, right from the central bank cutting the key rates, especially the central bank rate, to increase domestic lending. In terms of the key markets that we invest in, starting with the domestic equities market, so in 2024, the market had a strong recovery. I think for the members who were there in the AGM for last year, one of the key areas that we highlighted that was impacted was the stock exchange. But in 2024, we saw a very strong recovery where the market as a whole went up by about 34%, mainly on the basis that with the lower interest rates, investors did move to other markets. And secondly, in terms of the foreign investors, given the more stability on the economic front, we saw quite a good participation by the foreign investors. So overall, a very strong recovery from the stock exchange, and for the portfolio that we manage, we were able to see performance of up to 50% in very strong stocks that we have invested in the banking and telecommunication sectors. In terms of the offshore markets, those are markets that are outside the country. Just to mention that, we also had fairly good performance, although when translated to the local shilling, given the shilling strengthened, the return was not as strong. But from an underlying perspective, most of the markets we're investing in the US, in Europe, and some of the key emerging markets had a very strong performance, as you can see from those charts there. So now moving on to the portfolio, just in summary. So the investment portfolio is very well diversified across various asset classes. Diversification is important because we live in very challenging times. If you think about all the things going on globally, they are very interrelated, and that's why you see some of them have a very big impact even towards the local market. So the bulk of the portfolio, without specifically going through every single investment, is invested in fixed income securities, this being bank deposits, this being investment in corporate notes, which is basically investment in companies that have strong balance sheet and strong cash flows, and also investment in government securities. So that's what constitutes close to 80%. We have also diversified, as the chairman mentioned, into offshore investments. Here we're able to get sectors that may not be available locally, and also we're able to hedge should also the Kenya shilling also weaken. We also have a small investment in what we call REITs, Real Estate Investment Trust, especially those targeting the student housing. We also have an investment in private equity, about 4 private equity funds, which are basically investment in some of the sectors that we think across Africa will continue to do significantly better, such as medical, renewable energy, and so forth. And then, of course, there is about 10% investment in property. So in summary, a very well-diversified portfolio, and we'll continue to increase the mix of assets just to make sure that there is proper diversification. I think lastly on this slide is to confirm that the investments are in line with the limits as guided by the regulator. That's the Retirement Benefits Authority, and also in line with the investment policy statement limits. So moving on to the return, I think the issue of return has been discussed. Last year, very, very strong performance, as you can see there. The DC fund posting a return of 14.1%, which is a big improvement from what we had in 2023 and also in 2022. And I think the Board of Trustees deserve a round of applause, members, if you can. Thank you. In terms of now moving on, changing gears to the income drawdown fund. So this fund, by the very nature of what you're trying to do, has largely invested in fixed income securities. So it has an investment in bank deposits of about 18% as at end of the year, and the balance of about 80% in government securities, totaling to that number you see there of 763 million shillings. In terms of the performance, for the income drawdown fund, the fund continues to do quite well, as you can see there. Very strong return over the last 3 years. For 2024, posting a return of 16.4%. So a very strong performance in 2024. So I think in summary, we are now halfway mark through this year, 2025. So overall, of course, we do expect economic growth to be positive. There might be challenges that are coming through. I think we all know about what has happened in the last 2 days, obviously on the political front. And obviously from a global perspective, there's obviously the war that we are currently seeing between Israelis and Iranians and so forth. So obviously those are key items that we continue to monitor in terms of the impact to investments, and of course making sure that we are making the right investment decisions to cushion members' returns. We also expect that for the main markets that we invest in, they'll continue to do well, although we have a very dynamic way of shifting when we need to do that. And so far, for the 6 months, now almost ending the 6th month of this year, the performance still remain quite positive, largely positively impacted by the fact that the stock exchange, as you saw, we have investments there, has done quite well, broad market up about 20%, and also the fact that offshore markets have also continued to perform quite well in 2025. So I think, members, in conclusion, is just to say that 2024 was a great year for performance. 2025 has started quite well. We continue to work very closely with the Board of Trustees just to make sure that the returns remain positive, and so that, as and when you are accessing your money at retirement, you have a good package. With that, I will stop the presentation, and of course, we'll be here together with my colleague Esther to handle any questions. Thank you, and back to...
Tumpigie makofi vizuri. Thank you. Now we'll call Purity just to come and confirm the numbers. Yeah, because you had already done much of the legwork during the day. Just go straight away to the numbers.
Thank you, Chair. Members of the board, scheme members, my service providers, good afternoon. As introduced, my name is Purity, representing NCBA Bank, the custodian, and as guided by the chair, I will not dwell so much on the particulars of my report. However, I'll just do an asset confirmation of asset held for the period that we are reporting. Projecting here is the assets for the KenGen DC. Again, I'll not dwell so much on the particulars of each asset class. Maybe mine is to just confirm that the assets were invested within the RBA limit, and we closed the year at 13,987,347,173 Kenya shillings. On the IDD asset classification, again, with a clear breakdown of each particular asset class that was held by the custodian, and we closed the year at 763,995,260 Kenya shillings. Maybe, Chair, to just capture my last slide of my presentation. This is just a confirmation to the members that income earned for these two particular schemes was collected by ourselves in good time. We also did execute all your investments as guided by the laid down regulations. We also executed your investments as per the guideline of the fund manager. And finally, members, I do confirm to you that your investments are safe with us, and we as NCBA custody continue to work on a daily basis to ensure that we hold your assets in safe custody. Thank you, members.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Purity, for confirming what John presented is real. Now, with that, in the interest of time, I will call the auditor, Madam Eunice.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Eunice Moara, Audit Manager. I'm representing my audit partner, Federal Law. So I do confirm that the audit was completed and we were able to sign on the 27th of March. And in terms of our audit opinion, we have audited the accompanying financial statements of KenGen Defined Contribution Scheme, set out on pages 83 to 105, which comprise the statement of net assets available for benefits as at 31st December 2024, the statement of changes in net assets available for benefits, and statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and a summary of material accounting policies and other explanatory notes. In our opinion, the financial statements give a true and fair view of the financial position of KenGen Defined Contribution Scheme as at 31st December 2024, and of the changes of net assets available for benefits and of its cash flows for the year then ended, in accordance with IFRS accounting standards as issued by the International Accounting Standards Board and the requirements of the Kenyan Retirement Benefits Act. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Eunice Moura, who is representing Deloitte and Touch. So with that, then I propose that the annual report and financial statement for the year ended 31st December 2024 is taken as read. So with that, we'll move to the poll, the third poll. TS, proceed.
Thank you, Chair. This is the last poll for the DC AGM. And members, we shared the member statement a while back, and I hope all of you have reviewed your member statement. And the question we are asking, how satisfied are you with the investment performance of the scheme in the year 2024? How satisfied are you with the investment performance of the scheme in the year 2024? Very satisfied, satisfied, neutral, dissatisfied, very dissatisfied. From your benefit statement, and especially for the DC scheme, the return was 14.1, and hence we pose the question, how satisfied are you with the investment performance of the pension scheme in the year 2024? Very satisfied, satisfied, neutral, dissatisfied, or very dissatisfied. ICT, you can project the results. Thank you, Chair. We have 28% of the member very satisfied. Satisfied, we have 49%. Neutral, we have 22%. We have 2 members who think we need to pull our socks. That is 1%. And we have 0 on dissatisfied. So, Chair, is a confirmation that we still have work to do to even make the return better. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. At least 50% are satisfied. Yeah. And but as you rightly say, we have to pull up. So with that, then we'll move to the minimum agenda items. That is, we are obliged to do as per the Act RBA. I now wish to take you through the following agenda items as stipulated in the RBA Act. During the year, the meetings held for the full board and committee are as follows. Full board meetings, 5. Admin and Communication Committee meeting 4, Audit and Risk Management Committee 5, Investment and Strategy Committee 7. I think we deserve a clap for being very, very prudent. I know of some boards that do over 100. Yeah, so, and they were flagged off. The trustees' remuneration is disclosed in the financial report on page 103. Currently, the scheme pays a sitting allowance of 26 only to the board chair and 22,000 to board members, all net of taxes. Trustees' remuneration will not be reviewed, let me repeat, it will not be reviewed as the scheme continues to work on upholding the prescribed administration costs as per the scheme's strategic objective. Additionally, I would like to also confirm that there were no changes in the benefit structure and contribution rate in the year under review. I just want to confirm that even those limited meetings were controlled also by RBA. And I hope, Bosco, you are happy with we are even below what is required. Okay, questions and answer session. Members, we are now at the tail end of our AGM here, and it is a Q&A session. Kindly allow us to start by taking questions from our physical audience, then we'll move to to receive questions from the chat module. I know management do have a list of this. I request those asking questions to please state their full names. So this is good.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair, and thank you for our wonderful presentation. My question goes to the return on investment. If you have checked the slide, in 2023, the increment was 4-point-something%, but in 2024, it is 14.1. So why was there that sharp increase? What happened to 2023 and what happened to 2024? So that there is that big difference. Thank you.
Thank you very much. John, you will answer that. Yeah, and more questions, please, so that let's have the first set of questions. Where? All right, that's one, Anwari.
Habari ya mchana wana.
Mzuri.
Bibi yangu ni maoni.
Sema jina yako watu, mimi nakujua lakini wengine wakujui.
Kwa majina naitwa Anwari Muhammad, ama wale ambao wamenizoea wananiita mzee Mombasa. Mimi yangu ni maoni bwana chairman. Mombasa huwa tunasema ukizoea kubeba mtoto hapa mbele, ukimrudisha huku nyuma anaanza kulia. Sijui kama umenielewa ama nifafanue zaidi. Kufafanua zaidi ni kuwa zamani kulikuwa kuna kitu kidogo sana ilikuwa inapeana kama token kama ya transport. Sasa hiyo ndio kumaanisha mlitubeba hapa mbele. Sasa saizi umeturudisha huku mgongoni, tunalia. Naomba hiyo bodi tafadhali. Mkae chini, tunajua mambo ni magumu na kila ofisi kiingia ina uongozi wake tofauti.
Another question, please. Good.
Good afternoon.
Stella Washira, yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Stella Washira. Mine is a request on the post-retirement medical fund that more education can be done on the fund to our members so that they can take it with the seriousness that it deserves. I personally get some calls from retirees after they've retired wondering what to do next. So I would really reiterate the need to really give more education on this fund. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stella, for that feedback. So can we end there? Good. So that marks the end of physical questions. And before I hand over to John to respond, maybe let me answer that. We attempt to answer. Maybe for Anwari tumekusikiza. Na ni ukweli kitambo tulikuwa tunalipa transport. Lakini ilifika mahali ikawa the scheme, kuna kitu inaitwa deficit. Ilifika mahali kwa bahati mbaya tukawa na deficit. Hiyo deficit kwa kweli tajiri, that is a sponsor, came in to support us. Na sponsor amefanya kazi nzuri sana mpaka kwa saa hizi. Hata on top of that, wakati deficit bado ilikuwa inaendelea kupungua, tajiri akanunua Stima Plaza. Wametuokoa sana. Let me tell you, Stima Plaza wamenunua. Na because the return we were getting from Stima Plaza ilikuwa kidogo sana. So not really kidogo, but if you compare with what the market is providing out there, the sponsor also saw the sense. It was a matter of the sponsor striking a balance. Do I continue servicing the deficit endlessly, or I assist the pension fund? We buy Stima Plaza so that now whatever they plow back from here, they are able now to invest in asset classes that give good return. So that's what informed the sponsor, and it was really a bright idea, and we appreciated that. So almost 2 billion. We've gotten 2 billion from the plaza, and now it's in our account. We've put that money kwa bonds, and hopefully the returns will obviously be better than what we were getting from rental. At the same time, the sponsor is still servicing your deficit from this July. So tunatarajia in the next 2 years, we will be fully funded. Fully funded inamaanisha ya kwamba saa hii tukiamua hii scheme tunataka kusimamisha. Na sheria ya RBA inasema lazima scheme iwe 100% funded all the time. Because wakati tajiri ataamua, KenGen ikiamua sasa it's closing shop, ni kumaanisha kwamba zile investment zote tuko nazo, we should be able to pay off retirees wote na wale existing employees. And that is why the RBA wana insist for DB scheme you must be 100% funded. So for now, nitakuwa na kudanganya Anwari na the other retirees that we will do that. But we commit, we promise, once we are fully funded, I think we'll take this debate to the board, to keti chini, tuone at least njia gani mkija AGM tunawapatia kitu kidogo. Sawa sawa. So for now, just bear. We believe in the next 1-2 years or thereabout, we'll be up and running. Now, we'll be able to facilitate for you to come to this AGM. Stella, thank you very much for that. Tumesema sasa the Secretariat must do a lot of work in terms of reaching out to the members. Reaching out to the members, serious education. But tunaomba pia mtusaidie HR, because the information we are getting from the Secretariat is we call for these trainings, we release staff to go for trainings, but you guys don't turn up. And especially Steamer Plaza is notorious. Rebecca and Beatrice, Steamer Plaza is notorious for not attending meetings. You can see now even, we have more retirees here than Steamer Plaza staff. Yeah, we have more retirees. And Anataka, this is a big statement the retirees are sending. They are sending a strong statement. Why are they coming here? Because wamejua they are alive now, inches on retirement. Wamejua uzuri ya retirement. Sawa sawa. So let's be serious. Let's start contributing to this post-retirement. And we requested the sponsor, Mali anaweza kutusaidia, but we still appreciate. The sponsor is really doing a lot to the scheme. But in our worst case scenario, if the sponsor may not be able to give us that seed money, I think we'll do what we can within our means so that we start off, we roll out this PRMF. With that, then I will call John to respond to that question. Performance, why 4% in 2023 and now 14% in 2024?
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you for the question. So that's a good observation. So the key reason, I would say it's really three reasons. The first reason is that, as we mentioned, the fund has an investment of about 12% in the stock exchange. That is the Nairobi Securities Exchange. Now in 2024, the stock exchange had a very strong recovery. So in terms of the prices of the stocks, we saw the prices appreciate quite significantly. In fact, for the fund, we saw an appreciation of about 50%. While in 2023, the market had been impacted negatively. So actually we had a negative performance. So that positive obviously had a very big implication on that. Then the second item, and I think those of you who have these financials, you can be able to pick this from page 83, but just to break it down, the second reason was the investment that we had in fixed income securities. So fixed income is your investment in government bonds, your investment in corporate bonds, and also your investment in bank deposits. As you had mentioned, the first half of the year, interest rates were very high. So given the fact that the fund had a lot of liquidity from contributions and so forth, we were able to take advantage of the high interest rates and lock in for longer periods at high interest rates. I think the chairman had at one point mentioned that in the beginning of the year, we had interest rates as high as 17%. So we were able to take advantage of that. So as a result, the investment income that we got from those securities was significantly higher than what we had in 2023 when interest rates were lower. The third reason is what you're calling the change in fair value of investments. So that talks to the stock exchange going up. And secondly, obviously, when you value some of the other assets such as private equity and offshore, they had a slightly higher return in 2024. So as a result, that's why you can see the net return of investment moved from 137 million to the 2.7 billion shillings in 2024, represented by the 14%. So maybe the other question is that 14% sustainable? So that's really the big job that we have together with the Board of Trustees to make sure that we continue to diversify the fund into asset classes that will give us good performance into the long term. But as I said, for this year, so far for the 6 months, the performance is still quite good. So we are very hopeful and cautiously optimistic that we'll be able to maintain the good double-digit performance. Thank you. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, George. John, on the online questions, I will take a number of them. There was a question about the exit of Praza for the DB fund. I would wish to confirm, this question is from Vitalis Odinga. Property investment, same as fixed income, equities, offshore, and equity, private equities, all of them are mandated to the fund managers. Exit or entry to those properties is a mandate of the fund managers, so trustees are guided by the fund managers. Additional to this, the DB scheme is a closed scheme with payout of more than 60 million per month on payroll. So the scheme must remain more liquid, and most likely it has to exit most of its illiquid asset classes. And that's what the guidance we received from the fund managers, together with the actuaries and together with looking towards compliance with the LRB regulations, which were above the limit. The other questions that have been asked is the fee to the fund managers. The fund managers are paid 0.2% of the fee. That is on the asset under management. The question from Stella, that we should take it seriously. Sure, we'll do that. There was also a question from George. Is it claimed that the compliance with the LRBA Act, particularly separation of service roles, will lead to increased cost? I would wish to confirm this has improved governance. Separation of fund management, custody, and administration has really improved the performance of the scheme and governance within the fund. The costs are minimal, but it was necessary to separate that. Then there was a question from Gitwa on the increase of the medical premium for pensioners. And as earlier discussed during the member education with the pensioners, there was an increase of utilization of the medical cover, which some of the medical cover, there was more than 100% utilization, which made then the insurance companies increase the medical cover. We have, however, negotiated and tried to see how best we can be able to handle that. The last question, Chair, was the involvement of members in the drafting of the IPS. We share the IPS document with the members, and it can be from the scheme offices, and the summary can also be provided from the scheme website. And the IPS is usually drafted by the actuary or a financial consultant with guidance from the LRBA Act and the regulation, and also with input from the trustees and the fund managers. But the current IPS, which is running, we can be able to review the same from the scheme offices, and a copy can be shared with you. Thank you.
Thank you, TS. I think that tells you members are well informed. Now, tunaendelea kumaliza. I now beg to move the chairman's annual report chairman's annual general meeting report. Its proposals, recommendations, and presentations made by various stakeholders be adapted and form part of this particular meeting. May I now have a proposer, please? You say your name so that for record purpose. Hello, yes? The mic here in front.
My name is Patrick Ikuju. I propose.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Patrick. The next one, maybe gender sensitive.
My name is Caroline Chebet. I propose.
Asante sana, Caroline. Thank you. That is adopted. Tunamaliza. As we conclude the AGM, I want to say asante sana sana to the main organizers of this AGM, that is the Secretariat staff. Once again, you've done an outstanding job ensuring a successful AGM. To our members watching from various locations and those present here, your participation made this AGM possible. We are here because of you. Finally, I want to express my deepest appreciation to my fellow board members for your invaluable support. Thank you also so much. There being no other business of which due notice has been given, may I take this opportunity to thank you once again for attending the meeting and wish you all a restful weekend. I wish to now hand over the program back to our able MC. Mubarikiwa wote, asanteni.
Thank you very much, Bwana Chairman. And I think with that, we are moving to the close. May I invite a vote of thanks from Janet Muhoro.
Thank you, Frank. The chairman and members of the boards of trustees of the DB and the DC schemes, our MD, Engineer Peter Jenga, the guest speaker, Dr. Edward Odundo, representatives from the Retirement Benefits Authority, service providers, KenGen, staff and pensioners. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am honored to deliver the vote of thanks at the close of this year's annual general meeting of the KenGen Staff Retirement Benefit Scheme. Allow me to express our sincere appreciation to the Board of Trustees of both the defined benefits and the defined contribution schemes for their unwavering commitment, strategic leadership, and prudent stewardship of the members' retirement benefits. We are equally grateful to our captain and MD and CEO of KenGen, Engineer Jenga, for gracing the occasion and for the steadfast support that the sponsor continues to extend to the scheme. Your presence today affirms the sponsor's dedication to the welfare of both current and retired staff. To all the invited guests, including the representatives of the RBA, I'm still trying to identify my salary type. Our guest speaker, Dr. Edward Odundo, for your insightful presentation, colleagues from Kenya Power Pension Fund, Stima Sacco, and other stakeholders. Asanteni sana for taking the time to join us and for your invaluable contribution to today's proceedings. Special recognition goes to the professional service providers, the fund managers, scheme actuary, auditors, custodian whose expertise plays a central role in supporting sound governance, compliance, and performance of the schemes. We also wish to thank the event service provider for their support in ensuring the smooth delivery of this AGM, Brandley Services Limited for audiovisual and technical support, Obi Ventures for the excellent decor that you can see here, and Megawatt Cafe for the meals and refreshment. To all KenGen staff here present and those joining us virtually, thank you for your participation and engagement. To our valued pensioners, we honor your legacy and thank you for remaining active stakeholders in the affairs of the scheme. I join you in 40 months. In a special way, I wish to commend KenGen SRBS Secretariat for the excellent coordination, the meticulous planning that has gone into making today's event a success. Your efforts are deeply appreciated, and what a beautiful setup for those of us attending physically. Lastly, to God Almighty for a successful AGM, we give all honor and glory. As we conclude this important meeting, may we live with renewed purpose and commitment to the continued strengthening of our schemes for the benefit of every member present and future. Thank you and God bless you. Thank you.
So with that, ladies and gentlemen, Chairman, asante sana with your team of board, and to all of you for being very, very patient. So let's all be upstanding for our word of prayer. Dina.
Our Lord and our Father, this afternoon, we want to thank you and give you honor and glory. We thank you, Lord, because you are creator of heaven and earth. You are the firstborn and the lastborn. You've given us strength since morning up to now. There are times we take things for granted, even sitting is not very easy. But because you gave us strength, we are able to sit up to the end. You have also given us knowledge from different speakers. Our prayer this afternoon that we may be able to put the education we have had into practice. We are not going to go the same way we came. I've been informed that there is good food which has been prepared for us. My prayer is that we may prepare our appetites before we walk to where the food is so that we may enjoy it. And so we thank you, Lord, because of your love and even for that food, Jehovah. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
And the people of God say, amen. Thank you very much and see you again next year. Have a nice weekend.